for Millwhite Incorporated. The company is blowing hazardous dust into a Brownsville neighborhood, and tonight the 4 Investigates team is speaking with State Representative Aaron Gauman, who says that the company could be hit in their bank account.
We are contacting the TCEQ almost on the daily.
Consequences for Millwhite Incorporated in Brownsville are official. A letter from the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality outlines as of July 13th, the mineral company did in fact violate state health codes, blew past corrective deadlines, and did not resolve any of the violations. Their hazardous dust has blanketed a Brownsville neighborhood.
We have to put the health and welfare of our citizens first.
State Representative Erin Gomez went door to door. She had trouble breathing and says the situation from 1 to 10 is off the scale.
Derek, when I was out there, I could, when you stepped in the grass, you could see tiny plumes of dust coming up. When with my own shoes, I could feel the soot on my fingers. I could feel it on my clothes. And I was out there for over an hour.
Time isn't on anyone's side. The people breathing in the dust, the TCEQ confirmed is an eye and respiratory irritant, are fed up.
Both my daughters have sinus problems, sinus infections. I can't confirm or correlate that directly to that, but what if?
Representative Gomez is fed up too, sending a letter requesting the TCEQ, quote, use all the tools to compel the company to come into compliance. The TCEQ responding with they're working on it. The investigation will be referred to TCEQ's Enforcement Division, which could recommend penalties or get the Office of the Attorney General involved to include civil penalties, meaning Millwhite will have to pay up.
I'm grateful for their patience, and I hope that they know that we're going to continue to try to fight to get this taken care of.
And again, this is a 4 Investigates update. Right now on valleycentral.com, you can
Starship Flight 2 set to launch upcoming soon. Big Mike for president. Where were you when the world stopped turning? And air contamination in Browntown. It is Monday, September the 11th, 7:08 a.m. My name is Frank Olivo, and this is Good Morning Brownsville. Now, I wish I had better news for you. Unfortunately, living in South Texas, here on the border in the city of Brownsville, our weather seems to be no different. Today, we will have a hot, humid day. The city of Brownsville is looking at 98 degrees. Harlingen, McAllen are in the triple digits. We should be experiencing some rain starting from Thursday all the way to the weekend with highs of 20% chance of rain. Where were you when the world stopped turning on that September day? We can all picture ourselves where we were when we got that frantic news that the Twin Towers were under attack. And we saw the patriotism on the days that followed, where the country united and was grieving for the victims of this terror attack. It seems as if this is a day in which we'll live in infamy. When I speak to people in the older generation, I ask them, do you remember where you were when you heard John F. Kennedy was shot in Dallas? And they said, yes, I was listening to the radio. Or yes, my mom told me. Things such as these is something that is still fresh in our memory. And we could possibly even remember how we felt on that day. And ever since then, September 11th has been a day in which we remember all those individuals. This is the largest terror attack here in the United States. And we have heard how individuals who were working, who assisted individuals on that day, suffer from health issues still to this day. This is something that we will never forget. Where were you when the world stopped turning on that September day? Now, I don't want to take you on a rabbit hole with me, but if the time permits, I know my friends are going to make fun of me, but the more and more September 11th the more and more we either talk about September 11th, we hear videos, the more and more I start to think that this was either an inside job from the US government. And I know I'm going to get a lot of slack, but hear me out. Ever since then, haven't you noticed that the government has pretty much taken control of our everyday lives? Shortly after that, the government didn't need pretty much any excuse. They would blame everything on the war on terror. Where were you on that September day? I'm not going to go to the rabbit hole and talk about what I feel was an inside job. But we will remember today for the rest of our lives. And we could probably tell you in detail where we were, what we were doing, and how we got the message. But more importantly, how the country shortly thereafter showed great patriotism. Everybody was proud to be an American, and this is something we haven't experienced since possibly Pearl Harbor. The Twin Towers signify to me a day that I'll never forget, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. Now, they say politics kills. One thing that I've learned is that if you don't want no problems with anybody, don't ever discuss your political affiliation or your religion. Nonetheless, politics is something that we deal with, whether we even think about it or not. Politics is intertwined with our everyday lives, whether we are at work, whether we are part of some sort of organization. There's always politics that takes place. They say that there is a never dull day in the city of Brownsville. And we see how people are very passionate about their political parties and their political views. You and I can agree that every election cycle, we see individuals, for better or worse, who try to tell us why they deserve our vote. This is fresh news off the press. We do have Deborah Bell, who will be running for the Republican chair. And one thing that we have seen has been how the Democrats here in Cameron County, they've taken a stranglehold on the voters. We have to give props to Mr. Jared Hakama, the Democratic chair, who election after election gets his candidates into office. Now, I'm not saying it's necessarily him, but he is part or runs a well-oiled machine. The Republicans, on the other hand, now you can say that, South Texas is not predominantly Republican, but we did see how Mayra Flores did, even though it was a previous election, different districts. Mayra Flores did the unthinkable. She, as a Republican, did win a seat in Congress in South Texas. Miss Deborah Bell, will be challenging Morgan. Forgot her name. But we have seen how the Republicans, for whatever reason, they're not motivated, and more importantly, they're not organized. Is Deborah Bell, who is a long life resident of Brownsville, is she somebody that's going to re-energize, reorganize, empower the Republican Party? As we have seen, the Democrats have done a great job in organizing. But when it comes to politics, when it comes to what's important, have they provided a better quality of life for you and I? Have they given us jobs? Is Brownsville, Cameron County promising? Or on the other hand, is Brownsville just a stepping stone for them to make feria? Deborah Bell here locally will be running as the Democratic chairwoman against Morgan, two women battling out for the Democratic Republican Party. I apologize. Now, another woman that is set to to uh, vie for an elected office is none other than Michelle Obama. You and I can agree, and not making fun because I would never, poke fun at somebody's age, but you and I can agree that President Biden's leadership has been horrible. Some even say that he might even go down as the actual Manchurian candidate, somebody that is simply being used. We have seen through his press conference, he is currently right now in Vietnam, and he's just not making any sense. And we have heard the rumblings of how he will not be running for this upcoming election. When we look at his policies from immigration, inflation, the way we left Afghanistan, everything has been a fumble. There is nothing that this current leadership can hang their head on and say, we deserve 4 more years. So the rumblings is that an Obama is set to go back to the White House. We have seen how President Obama has a good liking to him. Ever since he ran, he's always been charismatic. The people like the Obamas. And we have seen as of late has been how President Trump has been gaining momentum. This weekend he was in Iowa at the football game. After 4 indictments, you would think that this individual would have no chance in hell of regaining the presidency of the United States. But what we have seen has been totally the opposite. It seems as if he is only gaining momentum. He is getting stronger based on crowds, based on support, how people are saying that, the Democrats are weaponizing the Department of Defense, Department of Justice, and they're using it to their benefit by pretty much throwing everything in the book at him. Well, Michelle Obama is rumored to be the next Democratic nominee for president in 2024. How will you vote? And again, I will go down and say that currently, right now, it is Barack Obama, that is running the show. Do we anticipate the same thing if he becomes the first man and his wife is the new president? Of course, it would have been no different with President Bill Clinton and Hillary if she would have won in 2016. But it is rumored that Michelle Obama will be running as a Democratic nominee for 2024. We can all agree that President Biden is not capable of leading this country in the very near future. They say politics kills. They say that if you do not want to argue or fight with anybody, maybe it's best that you do not bring politics into play. Deborah Bell will be running for the for the Republican chair, and we have Michelle Obama, who is rumored to be running for the presidency in 2024. Now, SpaceX news. Are you ready for the second flight? We did receive word how SpaceX did receive 63 violations based on their last test flight on April the 20th. We saw pictures how debris was scattered for a longer radius, a larger radius that was once anticipated. We did see how the FAA did post that they did close their investigation into SpaceX, and they did find that 63 corrective actions must be fixed by SpaceX. And this does not signal resumption of Starship launches at Boca Chica Beach. And we did see how they did post the 63 violations. But again, these individuals are ready to launch into space. And ever since the first launch, they were already correcting their mistakes. And that is the only way, unfortunately, that is the only way how they are going to figure this out. Again, if at the first, if you get dropped down once, twice, three times, you got to get back up and learn from your experience. That is what SpaceX is doing. They, according to them, they are ready to launch. Many insiders, and again, if you're not following SpaceX news, make sure you do so. Go into Facebook, click Boca Chica SpaceX. That way you can get all the latest updates. It is rumored that the second flight, once they get the clearance from FAA, the second launch is anticipated to be September 29th at 8 p.m. Unless I'm reading it wrong, and it was AM, but I saw PM. That is the rumored date. Again, nothing is certain, as we saw on the first launch, but that is the anticipated date. 63 violations. We have previously spoken how not only is a local species, a local habitat affected, but the report did come back and say that there possibly will be respiratory issues for us humans, which is very, very scary. And now for our feature story. There's an area within the city of Brownsville that have been having air pollution that has seen their streets, their neighborhood covered in dust. We have been following this story. We have friends that live in the area, and they did bring it up to our attention. And they did say, could you take a look at this? Could you possibly bring light to what we're dealing with? Our team, once we started working on this story, we found out that this was an issue that went back a decade. We have found that this company in question has been affecting the lives of our Brownsville residents. And it is sad that it took so long, but we are proud to say that our local officials were following this story and did finally take action. We do have the Brownsville Mineral Plant investigation that did find 16 violations. Our local representative, Ms. Erin Gomez, did state that this situation that the Brownsville residents were facing was huge, that it was a 12 out of 10, something that was affecting the livelihoods of these individuals. And if you don't know where this plant is, it is located on South Padre Island Highway, or East 14th Street, however you depending on the GPS that you use. But this location, I pinpointed it. Let me zoom in. I pinpointed it, and this is South Padre Island Highway. It is before Emilia's and close to the Dollar General. I'm going to zoom in on this. It is by Robindale, behind Robindale, and the Jorge and Jaime subdivision and Salomon subdivision. Well, this area behind the pinpoint that I have, this area right here, has been severely affected by air pollution. What we have found has been that individuals, when they were cooking, when they were walking outside, they felt that the air was different, that the company was at fault for blowing hazardous dust into the neighborhood. Now, it is important for us to learn how the company has forced our residents in this area to not enjoy life, to not be able to enjoy life, that the quality of life in that area was unacceptable. Can you imagine yourself barbecuing not being able to barbecue because dust particles will land on your food. We started today's show with a video, and Representative Gomez did state that when she would walk in the neighborhood, there'd be a dust of smoke dust, that it was unbearable. She contacted the Texas Commission of Environmental Quality to look into this matter. And again, this isn't an issue that is recent. This is something that we have found that goes back to 2013. Now, can you imagine our residents having to deal with this issue for a decade and no one on record was at the forefront of this? It wasn't until last year, I want to say, where these individuals started gathering and rallying. And this is the plant on South Padre Island Highway, Millwhite. Millwhite is the company that is creating this hazard for our residents, and we have found pictures that have been posted throughout the years. Dust is a constant thing. Imagine you washing your car, your truck, only for you to having to deal with this issue, not once in a while, but every day. We have an individual here who posted that their children are not able to go outside and ride their bikes, not able to do pretty much anything. Here we have an individual posting of how dirty it is. Now, we also have a petition that is going around. And again, they are seeking help. Now, Representative Gomez did come to their aid. And what is interesting to note is that these individuals are having to deal with this. Now, this is something that I wasn't aware of, and it's sad. It's sad for these individuals to have to really ruffle some feathers, shake them trees in order for attention to be brought. Here we find a post from back in 2013 where this individual says that this company has been causing the neighborhood harm. And she states, according to her post, and again, I'm gonna zoom it in where it says 2013, April 17, 2013. She's talking about the Robindale Villa del Rey subdivision that is having problems with the Millwhite company, which is located on South Padre Island Boulevard. And it goes on to say that, their families can't go outside. It's affecting our everyday lives. And this particle, this mineral that is being worked on, is something that has possibly even giving them health issues. It is good to learn how our local representatives did take action. Ms. Erin Gomez is freshly new to her position, but we applaud her, and we will be waiting for the outcome. Now, the Texas Commission of Environmental Quality did pass this along to their enforcement division, where we anticipate that this company will be paying a fine and try and correct those violations that were found. It's important for us to use platforms such as these, social media, Facebook, or even this show, to bring attention to what is going on and affecting our everyday lives. Our local politicians should be there to assist us. That way we can live better lives. That is the only way how we will bring attention to what we are dealing with. And we hope and pray that our elected officials are there to take the mantle and run. And that, my friends, is the rest of the story. Where were you when the world stopped turning on that September day. We can all. I'll speak for myself. I'll remember I was at the university. I'm sorry. I was at my freshman year in Hannah, first period, and they said the Twin Towers were attacked, and I had no clue what the hell the Twin Towers were. But slowly we learned, and I felt patriotic. That's when I wanted to get into politics. That's when it really opened up my eyes to what we call America. Big Mike for president. It is rumored that Michelle Obama will be the Democratic nominee for this upcoming presidential election. You and I can agree. President Biden is not fit to lead this country. So the Democrats are needing something that will stick with the American people. Donald Trump has been gaining a lot of momentum, and this would be a heavyweight fight. Michelle Obama and Donald Trump. How will you be voting in the presidential election? Starship Flight Launch 2 is ready to go. According to SpaceX, they did fix their 63 or 57 violations because 6 were for future flights. And rumor is that the next flight SpaceX will have is September 29th at 8 p.m. I saw p.m. I could be wrong, but we'll be sure to follow that. And air contamination in Browntown. Currently, we have a neighborhood that is being severely affected with this Mill-White company. We have found that for the past 10 years, this is something that they've been dealing with, and has only been this last year or two in which an elected official actually did something, went door to door, spoke with the residents, and then submitted a letter to the Texas Commission of Environmental Quality to take a look into this matter. We anticipate that they're going to be fined, but will they fix their practices? That way, these homes won't be affected. This neighborhood could have a better quality of life. Is what is important. Will they move the area? Will the Attorney General? Is there some sort of way where the state of Texas will encourage them to move outside of the city? That way, this will not be a nuisance. This will not be something that will be occurring again. Only time will tell. Thank you for your time and your attention. September 11th. I don't want to go down the rabbit hole, but if you want me to, just go ahead and message me. Thank you for your time and your attention. Hope you all have a awesome start to your week. See you here on Wednesday. Peace.